The S in mindset is for self-talk, or what we are telling ourselves about the behavior we want to change. It's the frame we put around the picture we have of the behavior. The strategies involved in self-talk are based on cognitive behavior theory, which suggests that we talk ourselves into our emotions. That means that through our self-talk, we actually create our emotions. The implication here is that we can talk ourselves differently to create different emotions. What a concept. That actually puts us in control of how we feel. Unfortunately, that now means I can't blame how I feel on my child or my spouse or my boss or my life. I talk my way into how I feel. I can talk my way out. My feelings become my choice. But how exactly does that work? The basics are simple. If I make unreasonable demands of myself or my child, I will end up feeling frustrated and even angry. An unreasonable demand might be in the form of this self-statement. My child must obey me and do what I say. So why is that unreasonable? The word must is a demand that has no leeway, no room for error. Any deviation from the absolute can't be tolerated. That sets up failure from the outset. A milder self-statement that allows some flexibility and room for change would be, I'd like for my child to do what I say. Can you feel the difference? Changing the demand can reduce potential anger and leave me open to the next steps in mindset. Understanding our use of words that demand and exaggerate are simple ways to begin a more positive and calming Mind S.E.T. Bottom line is that when we're upset, hard to think clearly, and Behavior Checker gives us ways to reduce upset through reframing the situation so clear thinking is more readily available. Another way we upset ourselves is an exaggeration. When we think of a child's behavior as awful, over the top, totally unacceptable, then we are likely to be upset. Framing the behavior as simply needing to be replaced rather than overwhelmed reduces the emotional impact and opens the brain to clearer thinking. We all know that when we are emotionally upset, we can't think clearly and will not be able to adequately solve the problem. Next slide, please, Barbara.
So I'm going to add just a little tidbit more about empathy. As Jerry said, we can't emphasize enough, as you can see in this hour we're together here, the importance of thinking about empathy and thinking about your responses to behavior and how you use empathy. The idea of putting yourself in a child's shoes, sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes you've never been in the situation that the child's in. And so it's hard for you to actually do that. But you can imagine what is motivating a child to engage in a particular behavior. You can, just even from your own experience, think about on the cognitive side, as Jerry said, and on the emotional side, what may be going on in the child's life to create this behavior or these words that the child is saying, and potentially in that way understand that if you are in a stressful situation or in a situation that is an inappropriate behavior, what kind of adult behavior would you like to have coming at you in that situation? Again, the reaction is what we're talking about here to the behavior. And if you want to feel safe, supported, and cared for, we guarantee you that the child is feeling that same way. So in an open understanding of that perspective is what the empathy piece is all about. It taps into, as Jerry said, the attribution theory, moving from blaming and guilt tripping and feeling like this is the child's fault, to making you feel upset, to thinking again of the child's point of view. What can I attribute this child's behavior to? What's motivating the child? Next slide, please.
As you might have guessed, the T in Mind S.E.T stands for teach. Every behavior presents a teaching opportunity that leads to teaching an appropriate behavior to replace an inappropriate behavior. As we've said before, consistency is the key. That means that we need to apply rules and consequences reliably to build trust and understanding. Good teaching follows up with reinforcement through recognition and praise. So bottom line, we all learn how to do things, how to behave in different situations. Teaching a child a new behavior to replace an unwanted behavior just makes sense. If I consistently misspell a word, I can teach myself the correct spelling.